afternoon, Saptarishi.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Saptarishi, did I give you to write any answer?
No facing cancer.
Okay. Okay, so I hope that we understood by now that Jain philosophy is more than customs, rituals, and religions. It's more like a science, right? That how we should live,
Yes.
what we should do, right? In terms of ethics also. So it tells us different things, right? So what were the terms we read about Jainism? Manas? Manas?
Sorry, ma'am, I could not get you.
Can you repeat again? Can you repeat again? What did you say?
I could not get you, ma'am. Could you please
So
come again?
by now we understood that it's a science of thinking, right? That how we understand truth, what reality is, right? So what were the terms that we read in Jain philosophy till now? Syadvada, Anekantavada, Saptabanga, right? So what were these? Can you elaborate them in just one liner? Saptarishi, can you do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Basically, we talked in Jain philosophy. We are talking about the dualism, that is Jiva and Ajiva. Jiva means soul, and Ajiva means the non-soul, the time, spirit, matter, CTC. And this Ajiva can be broke down into five categories. That is dravyas. Dravyas. There are six dravyas in Jainism. That is Jiva, Pudgala, Dharma, Akash, and Kal. Here, Jiva is the soul, Pungala is the matter, and Dharma is the principle of motion, Adharma is the principle of rest and stability, Akash is the infinite space, and Kal is the infinite time. And then we are talking about Shapta Bhangi Bhanginaya, that is basically seven principles of life, that is. Uh, and then we are Syadvada, that is to be exist and not exist. Basically, that is we are getting to different aspects of the Syadvada, that is Sad Asti Cha Nasti, Sad Asti, Sad Nasti, uh, describable, non-describable, all these things, and ultimately we learn that uh, Jainism basically teaches us how to be tolerant uh, about epistemology or the reality of knowledge, the reality. There can be Anekantavada. Jainism talks about Anekantavada. That basically means that we can actually understand a uh, reality through different aspects. There is not one aspect that we can understand. We can actually understand and reality with different aspects, and actually we have to give importance to every aspect to get to the real picture.
Yes. So if there is an example like debate between two people that money brings happiness, and there is another person who say opposite of it that money basically it destroys happiness, right? So in terms of Jainism, what it will be, right? So it will say the theory of Anekantavada, right? That you both are right in your own terms, and to this we will use the word siyat, right? What siyat is? So basically, in some respect you are right, right? In some respect you are right, in some respect you are right, right? Jainism says that try to understand what other person is saying, right? Because there is always truth hidden in someone's theory, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, and what is Syadvada? Saptabhangya?
Uh, Syadvada is basically means the understanding of any reality through different aspects, like conditional understanding. Different There are different aspects of the same reality. So actually, truth is not the one way. Truth can't be understand through just one aspect. We have to actually understand different aspects to get to the real truth or the real reality. That is Syadvada.
So
And
basically, so
Saptabhangi,
like Syadvad is like doctrine of conditional predictions. That in some respect your truth is also right and my truth is also right, right? So the conditions might
yes,
be
ma'am.
different, phases might be different, but yes, in some respect your truth is also true, right? And they say that
Yes,
reality has many sides. You cannot understand the reality from one side, from one perspective, right? So
yes,
Saptakamya is seven modes by which we can prove Syadvad, right? These are the seven
yes, ma'am.
modes which makes us understand, right? How, in what aspect the reality can be true, right? So
Yes,
these are the seven truths, and we can understand with the example of force, right? Like we discussed, right? So
yes,
Syadvad says that there is existence of force, right? You can see it, you can verify it, right? There is existence to it, and there is no basically untruth in that case. Then Syad Nasti. Now, how will you learn this? First of all, break these terms. When it comes to Syad, it says that it exists. Asti means existence, right?
yes, ma'am.
So there is 100% of existence of it. Now, Nasti, it says not exist. So this is how you have to understand and learn these Sanskrit keywords, right? And Asti, presence, Nasti, not present, right? Then Avaktavya, which cannot be described, right?
In
And
that government.
yes, and then we have to learn these words, right? So we know what Syam means, we know what Nasti means, we know what Avaktavya means, right? So in this
Yes, ma'am.
form, it
Yes,
could be written and understood. So try to make these Sanskrit words. Do not mug it up because it won't help you. And I'll be coming with a PDF where I'll put these Sanskrit words in one PDF so that you can understand them.
yes,
Okay. Now, let's understand why do we need it. Okay. Let's understand that why do we need this Saptakamya. So it's avoid contradictions. It means that these logic allows apparently opposite statement that we need to resolve the conflict, right? So that we can understand things without the conflict and we can put our viewpoint also, right? So this is why we need Anekantavada, and today's generation it is very much needed because we can see on the social media, right? The conflicts that we come up with, the comment sections full of the things that we do not want to even see, right? So instead of saying that only one side is right, what Jainism says that each side is right in some respect, right? And this prevents what? Dogmatism, rigidness,
yes, ma'am.
right? So basically it tells us that another side can be right also, and it gives us logical contradictions also, right? By qualifying every statement, by helping understanding what's yes, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, if someone says that soul is eternal, right, and the soul changes, now both can be true. How will you prove this?
Uh, this actually can't be proved because soul we can't verify there is soul or not. So
In Jainism philosophy, yes, but if we take example that soul is eternal and soul changes, right? So eternal is what? Its essence. Can it
yes,
be its essence? So in this way, can it be right?
yes, that
Soul change
way
means
it can be because essence changes. Yes, with
essence.
experience and all that.
Exactly. And when it comes to changes, can it be called material in form of material? Right, so both the term can be right and wrong. can be true at the same time, right? So changing is more
Yes,
like
ma'am.
the same states, right? Like knowledge or emotions, right? So this is what Jainism says, that we have to understand and accept both the terms, right? So it teaches us to be generally thinking, to understand, not to argue without logic. This is what Jainism tells us. Understood till here? Now, will you get why
Yes,
do
ma'am.
we need to study Anekantavada?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you summarize this?
Yes, ma'am. Basically, through the ideas of Anekantavada and ultimately Syadvada and Bhanginaya. So basically, we are looking toward a truth or reality from different aspects. Basically, the importance of these ideas are that these actually avoid the conflict and avoid dogmatism that creates when we actually believe only one truth. But truth has different aspects, different realities. Truth can be different for different persons. And when these ideas come together, we actually get to the real picture, the real reality that is uh, we actually find ourselves with. So
Yes.
basically, these aspects actually encourages tolerance of knowledge, the flexibility of knowledge that can be actually achieved.
Yes, even in Indian philosophy, apart from Jainism, even Buddhism, Vedanta, right? They have so many forms
Yes,
that are contradictory, right? They don't agree
yes,
with
ma'am.
each other. When it comes to life, when it comes to Pustala, different aspects, right? They have differences, but Jainism says that you are moving towards one thing only. What's that one thing that Indian philosophy is moving towards?
Yes, ma'am. I
That is
the
the
question is
society.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, right. So Jain works for use Saptamangya as a rational tool to reconcile these rivalries, right? Showing that each expression is a partial truth. Like from its own angle, there is a partial truth in it. And that you have to understand. This is what it
Excuse
says.
me, मैम.
Yes.
वॉइस में कुछ नॉइज है मैम. आई मीन it is a bit difficult for me to listen.
Yes, ma'am.
My
There are some disturbance.
Maybe due to
just a
okay.
second. Is it fine now? Manas,
Yes,
is
ma'am.
the voice
Yes,
fine
ma'am.
now?
It's
Saptarishi?
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
So by now, I hope that you understood that it creates a bridge between conflicting ideologies that has been arising, right? So it was like a balance ideology that it was coming up with, right? Between especially Indian philosophers, right? Doesn't matter they gave about moksha liberation, or if they were coming about ideologies about life, about God. So they had differences, but then Jainism came in between, keeping a balance, right? That all aspects can be right, but in some aspects, right? And that we have to understand and basically accept also, right? This is what Jainism was saying. So Vedanta says that world is Brahma. This is what Vedanta says. And what Buddhism says, what Buddhism talks about, Saptarishi?
Buddhism talks about enlightenment, moksha. Uh,
Manas, what Buddhism talks about?
Ma'am, Buddhism also talks about a balanced life. If we examine the Majjhima Marga as prescribed by
Buddhism believes in
Understand?
momentariness, right? They believe
Yes.
in presence in today's time. This is what
Yes,
their
ma'am.
philosophy is
Yes.
in terms of Vedanta
Yes, ma'am.
philosophy, right? So this
Yes, ma'am.
ideology, this differences, right? They rest in one sense. At what sense? They talks about they are like basically impermanent in one another, but they argument can be understood if we implement Jainism philosophy, right?
Yes,
yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So I hope by this you have understood that these philosophical debates, right, they handle these complex metaphysical questions very logically, right, like the nature of the soul, karma, reality. And in modern time also, like we have discussed in previous class also, looking at the current affairs, so it's similar to like multidimensional analysis, like considering time, place and context, like before concluding. So it encourages dialogues instead of like disputes, like helping philosophers and understanding that there are different dimensions also, right? So these are the things that these philosophy teaches us, right?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, uh,
Yes.
here I am getting a familiarity with Hegel because not totally, because Hegel talked about the thesis, antithesis, and their conflict between them, but ultimately getting the synthesis that is the new reality. Here we are actually finding a middle ground. There is no conflict of ideas. There are just a amalgamation of ideas together, different aspects, and we are getting to the real reality. That can be similar to synthesis, but yes, it is little
Yes, in
different, but
terms of it,
this is
we can
antithesis.
see it. Yes. Yes. In terms of it, we can see it, but not completely, because
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Because
yes, but the
Hegel talked
resemblance
about
is there.
conflict. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
but the resemblance is there. Yes, agree. Good. Okay. Now, we studied that what Anekantavada is, we know what Syadvada is, we know what Saptabhangya is, right? These three things we know by now, right? Anekantavada, that many side truths are present. Syadvada means that conditional logic is there, and Saptabhanga means that there are sevenfold reasoning that helps to understand that truth can be true in some respect, right? This is what we have learned so far. So these theories basically helps us to see world correctly, right? So if you ask if this is the nature of reality, like how should we live, like this was the question, like if even in Indian philosophy, in Western philosophy, all of them like try to answer this, try to give like questions also, and they try to contradict each other, right? But this answer is something that we are still trying to find out. I'm sure that even if I ask you about that how we should be live, right, you'll have different philosophy. So just like that, Jainism also came with this theory that how we should live, in what terms we should live, right? So it connects with basically metaphysics, and metaphysics talks about what? Truth about existence. This is what metaphysics talks about.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Saptarishi, what do you think? What Jainism might have said in this? Like by now we know it's philosophy, right? So what do you think? How they might have resolved this issue?
Well, I think that Jainism might say for to the truth. Uh, Basically, they gave importance to do good things and ultimately follow the path of non-violence and different saying truth and all the rules that they have propagated these things, doing good deeds and avoiding violence to actually live have a liberation ultimately, because they are talking about the this type of existence that we have to actually do good deeds to have liberation. Uh,
Okay. So basically it talks about right knowledge with right faith, which will lead to right conduct. So these are the three things that Jainism talks about, right? So if you have right knowledge, the sources that you are coming up with, right, whatever, like from wherever you are learning, the knowledge you are getting, right, it should be right, it should be trustworthy, right? Then faith, whatever knowledge you are reading from the sources you are taking it, make sure that you have faith in that. And if your knowledge and faith are fine, they are 100% true, then your conduct will also be 100% true, right? This is what Jainism believed in. So basically it links between knowledge and conduct, right? So knowing reality is only meaningful when it's transformed or like our behavior, right? For example, if you're coming to my classes regularly, right, you're listening to me, but it cannot be reflected, these things, this knowledge cannot be reflected in your true behavior, in your daily behavior, right? So is there any point of you to coming these classes? Is there any point, Manas?
No, ma'am. The knowledge that we seek or the knowledge that we gain, it must be manifested in some practice.
Saptarishi?
So it
Uh, I think the knowledge we gain should be implemented in our daily life, and then the knowledge is being useful. If it is not being implemented in our life, then the knowledge that we gain doesn't have any value
Hmm.
for any of us.
Yes, exactly. So this is what Jainism says, that if you are reading anything, if you are knowing something, then make sure that you are implementing it in life, right? Because otherwise, like, there will be no use of it, right? So we study something, we know something so that we can implement it, right? So if we once understand that every living being, that Jiva has consciousness and can experience suffering, like non-violence, right? So all of these things, does this reflect you with some Western philosopher? Did someone
Mm,
say about this suffering?
Russell talked about that we actually avoid wars, do
Okay,
social justice.
let me give you a hint. This philosopher said something about condemned freedom. Now you should know. It's a keyword. He said that human beings can never ever be free. Once they are born, they are filled with responsibilities.
Okay,
Now,
so I think Hegel actually talked about
yes,
this idea
yes.
that community. Yeah.
Explain it to Manas what it was, what Hegel said.
Well, Hegel actually talked about the spirit, the fundamental spirit that actually everyone serves.
Hmm.
Basically, everyone is a part of community, and ultimately, after birth, we are actually serving the community. There is no our individual identity. We are actually part of a bigger community, and ultimately, we actually have to serve the community or the nation that is talking about. So, yes,
Yes.
basically,
So
there is
Manas,
no freedom
Hegel
like that.
says that once you are born, right? Like there is no way that you can move out from this web of responsibilities, right? So human beings are condemned to be free, and this is so true, especially in today's life. Do you agree with it, Manas? What do you think about this statement, about this philosopher? I cannot hear you, Manas.
Yes, ma'am. To some extent, I think it is correct to have people with some, as our friend just said, that
Hmm.
that since we live in a community, we live in, so there is a shared responsibility should be there, and maybe I'm now unable to comprehend the exact
Okay,
thing.
so Hegel says that once you are born, you move on to, like, you want to be free, right? And whenever
Okay,
you are moving towards this freedom, you
okay,
are
ma'am.
getting responsibilities,
Right.
right? And once you are getting responsibilities, there is a web of more responsibilities, more norms and culture, more duties that you have to and have to do if you are living in a
Okay.
society, right? So
Hmm.
this is what it says.
Okay,
And
I
in Jain,
understood.
yes, yes. And in Jain also, do you want to say something?
No, ma'am, it's fine.
Okay. So even in Jaina philosophy also, they talks about that if we understand that what Jiva is, we start differentiating what Jiva is, what Ajiva is, what matters to us and what should not matter to us. The once we understand this line, we draw this line, right? Then we can be free, right? And Jainism talks about violence, right? About non-violence, and it doesn't say that violence, physical violence. It also talks about violence that is in us, right? In our mind, in our actions. About this violence also it talks about, right? So basically, he talks about karma also. That he says that this karma is basically like a bridge between theory and practice, right? Theory and practice. And in somewhere in between we have this karma, right? So once we are learning something, we are getting to know something, doesn't matter it's materialistic world or about the spiritual things, and we are always moving towards, we are doing some actions, and that action leads some basically consequences, right? And that's where we get trapped, and the karma is like the changes the whole game. But if you have right knowledge, your actions are right, then you are moving towards something 100% right thing, right? So
Yes.
basically, it explains that why souls are bound, right, in the cycle of birth and death, right? So samsara that he talks about, and that how liberation is possible through right action and self-control. So basically, it turns abstract knowledge into a moral responsibilities. It tells us that how one should have right conduct, how important our actions are, right, which will lead us to somewhere. At some point it will lead us to somewhere, and that action will depend, right? So it's, karma is basically more like a dust, right? So if you have oily substance, right, and you see dust on it, right, it's very difficult to move it out from there, right? So in the same way karma is like that, so it stick to our soul, right? So similarly karma particles like matter stick to the soul when we act with passions like anger, greed or pride, right? So these are the things that our actions implements us. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So can you give me any current example of it, like if we have to relate it with recent news?
Well,
Yes.
yes, in a sense, it can be. Okay, so for example, let's say that uh, I can actually talk about the Gaza situation that is happening right now. So basically, Ukraine has been actually trapped the people of Gaza like a cage inside. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, that's their karma. And ultimately, when Hamas actually attacked them, they are blaming the situation on the people of Gaza, and then they are ultimately attacking them. But in reality, the atrocities that they have performed on the people, that is the karma that is stick to their consciousness. Should we stick to their consciousness? Ultimately, they are actually blaming the other party, the victims, but actually the karma that they have done before this
Hmm.
situation, that is stick to they must be stick to their consciousness that they have done the bad things, and ultimately that is coming to hunt them again.
Okay. Manas, do you have another example?
Ma'am, we can apply this idea to
Hmm.
media ethics, journalistic ethics.
Okay.
In today's newsroom debates, we can see how they generate heat rather than instead of shedding light on different topics. But the thing is that the panelists are not in a position to accept the viewpoint of the opponent. But if they practice the idea of tolerance and the conditional reality, then they will be in a position to understand their opponents, and in that
Hmm.
sense they will be tolerant and they will also be convincing to their opponents, and the opponents will also be convincing for them, and in that sense they will generate light. They will shed light instead of generating heat only.
Okay. So by now we understood by Jainism philosophy that what reality is, right? Reality is Jiva and Ajiva, right? And how soul can be free and how it's attached with worldly matters. And also it talks about how we should be free from it, right? So far by now, any question do you have or anything you want to say?
No,
No,
ma'am.
Okay,
ma'am.
so now imagine Manas and Saptarishi students. Suppose that you are an IAS officer, right, on your first posting, and a contractor offers you 20 lakh rupees for clearing a file, right? And you feel very like you have mixed emotions. You feel angry also because, like, if that person is approaching to you, right, there are two reasons. First, because you have power. Another reason is that person might like thought that you have this basically things in you which can lead towards corruption, right? So you have emotions, you have greed also, you have anger also, you have different emotions. So in Jainism philosophy, how will you put it, and from this perspective how you will be free from this?
Well, basically, Jainism talks about how we actually have to have right faith toward right knowledge, and ultimately, that must lead to the right conduct. And when we are actually someone is approaching with the bribe or anything, we actually have to remember the knowledge we gain about ethics and morality, and ultimately apply that in our job. We can't actually have our emotions running, our corrupt emotions actually. Blocking our view. We actually have to have clear mindset to actually understand the situation and do the right conduct. That is to stop the bribery and all that. So we actually have to have the right mentality to apply the right ethics and morality in this case and do the right deed.
Okay, Manas.
Yes, ma'am. It is actually since our actions, even our
Hmm.
inactions, leave karmic traces. So, if we indulge in such activities, which will hamper also others whom we do not even see, or about whom we do not know. For example, if it is about a road construction and the road doesn't last for long, and it is washed away during the rainy season, then it will hamper the interest of the larger public, the public at large. So in that way, if we are succumb to his approaches, then the karma that we did, or the inaction that the action we did to his favor, or the inaction that we did for the strengthening of the road, then it will ultimately have some repercussions to the people or to the society at large.
Okay. So another thing, suppose like we are addicted to our phones, right? So do tell me that are we using the phone or like is phone using us? So if I'm coming up with these two statements, then what Jainism, Jain philosophy will say in this? Manas, Manas.
Jain philosophy can tell that both are true. I mean, if we approach from Syadvada, from the perspective of
And this is
Syadvada,
called what? Seventh mode of? This is called seventh mode of
seventh mode of expressing the reality, right?
Saptabhangya.
Saptavangini, yeah.
Yes,
Saptavangi.
yes,
Yes.
Saptarishi. How will you
So
explain it, Saptarishi?
Uh, can you repeat the question?
So now because we are addicted to our phones, right? So when you are using, so my question is like, are you using the phone or is phone using you? So if I'm presenting the statement in front of Jain philosopher, then like how will he justify it? What he'll say?
Well, I think there are two aspects, and actually we have to understand the different aspects of the same reality. That is, Jainism actually talks about that. So basically, we are actually using the mobile phone. It is true because we are. This is our own will that we are being addicted to the phone, and we are actually using it. We can't stop it. But ultimately, there is also another aspect that the different social media or social media companies like Facebook or different, let's say. WhatsApp and all that, they are actually have the algorithm to actually manipulate the mindset of people, like giving shorts and all that, YouTube. So basically, that way, actually, the mobile is trapping the child or us, even us, the adults also, because that's their way of they actually know they actually capture the psychology of the people and they are actually controlling that. This is also a reality, and the other aspect is also that we are actually using that. We can actually stop be using the mobile phone, or we can actually control our addiction if we want to. That's in our hand, and we can't actually escape from that reality also. So yes, there are different aspects, and a giant philosopher might actually talk about how actually we have to understand these two aspects of the same reality and come to a way how we can actually avoid this addiction and lead a good life.
So if you are seeing yourself in a mirror, in front of a mirror, reflection of yours, and like are you seeing you or you are seeing like your body and soul? How will you differentiate in Jain philosophy? Manas.
ma'am, sorry, I'm unable to answer this question. Uh, Yesterday I
Uh,
was absent in the during the Jiva thing, ma'am.
it's a
I'll
simple
complete it.
concept, Jiva and Ajiva concept that you have to explain. Okay, Saptarishi, do it.
Well, when actually we look at the mirror, we can actually say that this is just the matter that we are seeing. But if
So we
we
have two
actually
things over
dive
here.
deeper,
We have two things over here, soul and body, right? So which one
yes,
is
ma'am.
Jiva and which one is Ajiva over here?
Soul is the Jiva and body is the Ajiva.
Okay, why is that? What Jain did to explain this? How they explained it?
Jain actually, yes, Jain said that the soul, that is the eternal thing, eternal entity that is soul, is Jiva, and body as it can die and it can perish. So basically, it is the non-soul element of our being, and that is body.
Yes, so basically, Jain philosopher will say that this reflection is a jiva, right, non-soul. But the consciousness that is
Yes, ma'am.
aware is jiva, soul, right? So every
Yes,
action you do
yes,
is dust, and that dust is called what? Karma, right? And
karma.
that's attached
Yes,
to
ma'am.
our soul, right? This is what it says. Like only on only substance, dust is attached, and it's very like impossible thing to detach it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So in the same way, the relation between karma and soul has been explained. Okay, so by now you are like clear with these terms. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so now let's understand what karma in Jainism is. So, karma is not just a moral law in this, right? As like in many other Indian philosophy, we see it is real, it is physical substance. If you remember in the last class, in Ajiva, right, we kept it, right? So, it's
Yes,
a
ma'am.
material thing and
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
real. Like in philosophies, in other philosophies, karma are what karma are Saptarishi? How they are like differentiating karma in their philosophies?
Well, for other philosophers like Buddhism, the karma is the whatever deeds or whatever
Yes, it's more
events
like
that we are
ethical
occurring
values,
in our
right?
life.
Yes,
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
more
Yes,
towards ethics. But Jainism is the philosophy who talks about it's more towards materialistic views, right? So it's made of subtle, very matter that is Pudgal. In this category, he identified it
Pudgar. Yes.
in matter, right? And it says what?
Yes, ma'am.
That under this Pudgal category, which is extremely fine, particles that are invisible to the eye, but materially they are real, right? So these karmic particles that flow into soul, red jiva, and they stick to it, affecting its purity, knowledge, and energy, right? So karma is like fine dust in the air, so you can't see it, but it settles in the soul when it is exposed to its passion and actions, right? So there is this another word Ashrava, right? This is inflow of karma, right? So it means the inflow of karmic particles into the slow. It happens when the activities of mind, speech, and body they open the gate of the soul to the material world. So this is Ashrava.
Ma'am,
Yes.
this karma is like a dust. It's always influence. So why is so? Is it because the experiences and or any other reasons there is?
Can you repeat again, please?
So this karma's inflow is happening in everyone's life. So my question is that how is it happening? Is it due to the experiences uh, that we actually experience every day,
Because of
or
the
this is
knowledge we are
different
getting,
every?
right? The type of knowledge we are getting, if the accuracy of knowledge is 100% or not, and with that knowledge, whatever actions we are taking, right? Through that karma is happening according to Jain philosophy. So everything is dependent. First one, if you remember, first one was right knowledge. Do you remember that? Jnana, it talks
Yes,
about.
ma'am. Yes,
Jain's first step is jnana only. If that is right and it's 100% accurate, then rest of the steps are fine, right?
yes, ma'am.
Right. So Ashrava means the inflow of karmic particles, right? So every time we act with attachment, hatred, or carelessness, so basically karmic matter enters and starts influencing it, right? So it's Ashvara. Understood?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
it's more like that, like understand it with this example that when you walk in the rain, right, without an umbrella, you are walking, and water naturally falls on you, right? So similarly, when the soul is uncovered by awareness, karma flows in naturally, right? So you have to cover up that karma, that soul, by knowledge, right knowledge. So that umbrella is what? Knowledge. If you are
Knowledge.
moving out without umbrella, right, you will be wet, right? So make sure that umbrella, that right knowledge is there, so that the karmic forces and right of the actions and the rest of the life could be right. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So next it talks about bondage. Okay. So when it comes to bondage, it means the binding or fixation of these karmic particles, right? And why we are binding, what we are binding through?
The good karmas we actually have to bound in our life, I think.
Okay, so basically it's not only about the entry of karma, like that's ashrava that we talked about, right? So but it's absorption and attachment to the soul structure. So once attachment, the karma forms a layer of impurities in us, right? Like if you are moving in a rain, right, there will be some dust particles, right? Some
Yes.
negativity will be there, like there are lots of things that you'll be facing, right? So in the same way,
Yes.
if you are moving out, right, and karma forms a layer of impurity, then these clouding soul naturally becomes very impossible to identify, right? So ashra is rainwater falling on your clothes, bandha is the water soaking and staining them. Understood? So
Yes.
what this kasaya, this passion, right? So kasaya are the passionate emotions that make karma stick firmly to the soul. So they act like a sticky glue, increasing the force of bondage, right? So what are the four passions that we have? Krodha, right? Pride, which is bana. Maya, right, that is delusion. And lobha, right, greed, right? So these
Great.
four things that we have: krodha, mana, maya, and lobha. So these are the four passions that we have, right? And these things, and these are very strong, and their boundage becomes very heavier and long lasting. So when passions are controlled, karma may still enter, but it doesn't basically stick deeply and can be easily removed, right? So these are the passions that we have to understand and we have to limit, right? So many corruption cases that we can see, right? So those are happening
Yes.
because of these only, right? These four passions only. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So Ashrava is inflow of karma, right? These karmic particles enter the soul. Then bandha is like blinding of karma, that karmic matter basically sticking to the soul. Then we have these kasaya, right? Passions, kashya, right? They make bondage very stronger and lasting, right? So
Yes.
these are the three things that we have to understand. Any problem in these three? Manas?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, Manas, can you explain me these three?
Ma'am, karma is actually it is the things that we do or the things
Hmm.
that affect us or we get affected by them. Then as, asrava is the inflow of karmic particles into the soul. Then bandha is when the karmic particles enter into the soul and settle there. So it creates a layer of impurity that sticks to the soul. Then this results into, I mean, then this results into a kind of uh, deep rooted uh, deep rooted impurity, we can say. But
Hmm.
if we have, it can also create four kinds of kasaya, the passions they like krodha, mana, maya, and lobha. But if
Hmm.
but when these passions are controlled, even if karmic particles enter, still they do not settle into the soul. So, so if the passions are controlled, then we can liberate our soul even if we are affected by the karmic particles.
Okay, so there's this recent example, basically a news going on, a government official, her name was Mithali Sharma, right? So she was caught in corruption, and on her first day,
Yes.
she
Yes,
was
ma'am.
caught.
Yes.
Yeah, did you read the news? What was it?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
she was trapped for taking some money
Trapped
on the
or
first day.
caught?
I mean, ma'am,
He
in
was
vigilance.
caught red-handed while taking the money.
No, Manas, can you repeat again? Was she like trapped or was she caught?
Maybe, ma'am, the caught is the right vocabulary to use in general sense, but
Yes.
in our profession, it is actually called trap because,
Okay.
huh.
Till she is not proven guilty.
Yes, she will be proven guilty.
Okay.
Because actually, just let me please add one thing. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
there is a powder called phenolphthalein powder, which is applied to the currency notes. Whenever the bribe taker
Yes.
she or he takes the money, touches the money,
Mm-hmm.
then that powder is attached to yes, we can say that that karmic particle of the powder attached to her hands. Then when it is washed in water, then water turns into red. That is how it is called red-handed in vigilance and enforcement directorate, ma'am.
Okay. Got it. Okay, my question to you both is like, is this ever going to end? Like, we are reading so many philosophies, right? And all these people or government officials, like even they read philosophy, they read ethics, they read these things, right? And do you know about Nupur Bora? I shared it with
Yes,
you
ma'am.
also. Manas, do you know about Nupur Bora?
No, ma'am, not exactly.
Saptarishi, what was the news about it?
Uh,
Yes,
I know the news, but
yes, ma'am. I
uh,
recalled
What is it,
that
Manas?
Assam State Police State PCS officer,
Hmm.
she was involved in such some kind of gratification cases through her boyfriend, maybe.
No,
the
Nupur
doctor
Bora.
turned IAS officer.
Yes. What was it, Saptarishi? I shared it with you. How can you forget?
Yes,
We had a
basically,
discussion with it.
I think that this is the case where the husband is a doctor turned IAS officer, and uh, they are involved in a 10 crore bribery case or corruption case or something like that.
So basically, Nupur Bora, she's from Assam, right? And she was caught with like cash, I think 25 lakh cash she was caught, and with certain amount of gold, right? So even she read ethics paper, she gave examination, she read philosophy and all the things that we are reading, right? But still, like she also went through all the passions that we are talking about of Jainism. But still we have this in our, right? Still we move towards greed. So why is it? Is this ever going to end?
Well, I think that this is not going to end because we know from the rhythm of experiment that the human's nature is ultimately a chaotic, destructive nature. When they are given a free hand, humans have the nature to actually whatever knowledge or whatever knowledge they have, ethics they have. When they are given a free hand, they just fall into this pool of madness, destructive ideas, chaos. So basically, this is going to happen, and we actually have because whatever we are reading, actually, I become confused as we have to read so much ethics and all that, so much history we have to read, and then again, these officers or some officers actually fall into these corruption cases. So this is actually confusing part because when we are actually reading these things, how can someone be corrupted? But in reality, we know that when power comes, the greed follows. Human nature is have a nature or tendency to fall into the greed last these things. So yes, these cases will always happen, and this is a problem in modern society. Because it is happened in the past, and it shall happen in the future as well.
Okay, so like Manas said in the starting that she was trapped, not caught. So can we say in like Jainism theory, if we put it, that Syad asti nasti cha avaktavya, that in some respect she was corrupt and some in some respect not. And the full truth is hard not to express. Is it something between that? Because it's not proven that if she's guilty or not. Can we prove it in this seven-fold path of Jainism? Manas, can we
No,
put it somewhere in?
ma'am, it is actually it exists in the first principle, that is Syadasti.
Okay.
Actually, what happens in trap cases, what police does,
Hmm.
first evidence is collected about demand of bribery. demand of money. So the phone calls are traced first. Then
Hmm.
the person from whom the bribery is demanded, he or
Hmm.
she comes to complain before the anti-corruption bureau, whatever. Then her complaint is registered. Then the mobile number is traced or the call record are analyzed, and there is proof that she is demanding money. Then call records are there. Then a bait is actually created. The complainant is asked to go to the officer to deliver money, and the currency notes are actually videographed. The numbers are the numbers over the currency notes. They are written on a paper. A proper proceeding is prepared, in which it is written that these numbers are being sent through the complainant to the particular officer because she has demanded money and it will be delivered to her. These are coated with phenolphthalein powder, and when she will receive the currency note, then the powder will stick to her hands. Then it is also the entire process is videographed, ma'am. When she accepts the money and she touches the money in her hand with her hand,
Okay.
that is also videographed. When her hand is washed, the powder when comes in contact with water, it turns to red. That entire process is also videographed. In a sense, we can say it is conclusive. It can be conclusively proved that she is guilty of demanding money and accepting money.
But can we
It
like
is
put those criminal
sad.
cases which are like not proved yet, right? Can we prove them in Syadasti Nasti Cha Vaktavya? That in some
Yes,
respect
yes, that
they
is
are
that
correct,
is
right? But in some
that could be the
respect they
best
are not.
category.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Syad
Okay.
asti, syad nasti, abhaktavancha.
Cha Vaktavya. Yes. Okay. So any confusion till here? Everything is clear? So there are lots of Sanskrit words that you have to remember. So I'll be coming with a PDF and I'll be writing all these words over there. But make sure that you are not mugging up them. It will not help you. I'm
Yes,
saying
ma'am.
it again. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Then we have bandha, bhava bandha. That is mental readiness for karma. That is inner state. So when we talk about bondage, that we understood in previous slide, right? So bandha means binding or attachment, right? So we are attached to materialistic world, and especially in today's life, at today, on this date, at this time, right? When we and you are having this discussion, we are attached to each and every materialistic thing that is existing right now. True?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So bandha means binding or attachment. So in Jainism, it refers to the union between the jiva, right, soul, and karmic matter. So it's between jiva and karmic metal, which is pudgal, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what Jainism is talking about jiva and karmic, right? So the bondage, it prevents the soul from experiencing its true nature, right? So it infinite knowledge, bliss, energy. But Jainism distinguishes two stages or two type of bondages, right? So two type of bondages: internal, that is matter, mental, and external, which is material. So it talks about internal and sorry. So internal is mind, right? And external
Bhava
is
bandha.
matter,
Dravya
right?
bandha.
Yes. So these are the two differences that it talks about, right? So when we talks about bhava bandha, right? So bhava means mental state or dispositions. So bhava bandha refers
Yes,
to
ma'am.
the psychological and emotional conditions of the soul that creates readiness for karmic attachments. So it happens when the mind becomes filled with negative emotions, like anger is there, greed is there, right? So because it is filled with these negative emotions, then we get bhava bandha, right? So it happens basically with all these emotions, and even before karma physically binds, the soul is already prepared to receive it. Why it is prepared to receive it, I explain it with the example also, the rain example.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we don't have right knowledge, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you give me an example of
The
it?
right umbrella is not there.
Yes, can you give me an example of it where we have all these negative things?
Uh, yes, basically, for example, for let's say the mind of a psychopath or sociopath, the criminals, the mental state of a criminal, these things there exist like anger, greed, and all that. Even we can actually take example of the 10 heads of Ravan, that the heads actually represent these karma, let's say these emotions like anger, greed, lust, these all things. This is the negative emotions that actually represent the 10 heads. So in that sense, this bhava bandha is applicable in this that case also.
So yes, so basically Jan says that when you are feeling these certain emotions, so it's like that you are opening the gate, right? Opening the gate for dust to enter, right? So this is what Jan says, that once you are feeling all these negative experiences you are having, right? So then you are going to have negativity in you, right? So like water heating up before boiling, right? The state of readiness before action happens, right? So this is the starting point of anything that bad is going to happen to you. Understood till here? Bhavabandha,
Yes,
any
ma'am.
question you have?
No, ma'am.
Next we have Dravya Bandha, which is material bondage. So Dravya means substance,
Substance.
and here he talks about material world, right? The attachment that we are having right now about this world reality, right? So it is actual physical process when basically subtle karmic matter it penetrates and mixes with soul, right? So it is the result of bhava bandha. And once the mind is disturbed, karmic enters and binds materially. So the thing starts from bhava bandha, right? Whenever you're having this emotion like greed, right? And when you have greed, this will lead you towards dravya bandha, some materialistic world. And when it comes to the recent example that we have discussed right now, right, someone taking corruption or someone taking
Yes.
doing
Right.
corruption, right, this is the example. First she had the feeling, had the greed, she actually cleared this paper so that she could have that bribe, right? And then that guilt, that sorry greed actually led her towards the dravya bandha, something more towards the materialistic world, right? So
Yes,
first
ma'am.
is bhavya, and then we have dravya. And if we see another example of basically bhavya also, anger, like in anger, we have this emotion and then we shout, we do things, right? So this also leads towards the dravya bandha. Understood till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Manas, did you get it?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we can understand it with the example of water mixing with milk. So once they combine, right? Once these two are combined, you cannot separate them, right? So it's more like fire hitting iron. Both appear very united, right? But they have different aspects, and it is very important to understand the differences these two have. Because if we will not, then we'll be in basically Maya, right? And we won't be able to get liberation, the moksha that Jain talks about, right? Understood till here?
Yes, ma'am.
So bhava is more like internal, psychological, right? The soul's emotional disturbance or readiness of karma. And dravya bandha is more external, that is material. So the physical binding and karmic particles to the soul. Understood till here? So it's
Yes,
more
ma'am.
like bhava is cause, right? And dravya is more like effect.
Effect. Yes.
Yes. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
This is the thing which is leading it towards this dravya bandha. So if mind becomes impure, right? Bhavya bandha, if mind becomes impure, then what will happen? The soul will be coated with karma, right? That's how our action will be. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Yes.
ma'am.
Manas, can you sum it up?
Ma'am, I would like to sum it up with the same example of that lady who was caught with.
So you can explain
Uh,
bhavya and dravya with the examples that I gave to you.
okay, okay, ma'am. Bhavya is the mental readiness to to be attached with the uh, or to corrupt the to corrupt the soul. Then when the Dravyabandha is when the soul is actually corrupted. It is the readiness of the soul,
Hmm.
and Bhavabandha is the internal state, the psychological state where the mind is ready, the soul is ready for the thing. The Dravyabandha is when it actually happens, when the mind it is actually coated with the karmic particles.
Okay. Saptarishi?
Yes, ma'am. Basically, Bhavya Bandha is basically means it's a mental state when we actually when the karmic particles actually stick to our consciousness, or the mental readiness or the mental state of our mind. That is the Bhavyavanta. And for example, like the or the negative thoughts we get when we actually think about something like anger, greed, and all that. Uh, for example, I can say that the when Ravan actually experienced the thought of revenge for her sister and the lust that he felt for Sita, that can be actually expressed as Dravyavandha, and ultimately Dravyavandha. That is the physical state after actually experiencing the Bhavyavandha. Uh, this is the outer state, the external state of our being, that is the Dravyavanda. And for example, I can say that when actually Ravan actually experienced the lust and the greed, then he actually kidnapped Sita. That can be described as Dravyavanda. And the modern days, we can say that the how people actually succumb to corruption and all that. So these things can be described as Dravyavanda. So basically, Bhavyavanda leads to Dravyavanda. The Bhavyavanda is the cause, and Dravyavanda is the effect that happens.
Yes, perfect. So now I have a situation and I want you to answer. That situation is, please listen it very carefully, that you are an IAS officer posted in a flood affected district of Bihar. Thousands of people have lost their homes and are waiting for food and medicine. A local contractor, the only one with the equipment and boats, offered to start relief work immediately if you approve his contract first. So this is the condition that he gives. But you know he is under CBI investigation for corruption and overpricing in previous tenders. So if you approve him, relief works immediately, lives can be saved, right? But you will accused of favoritism and possible investigation later. And if you reject him, it will take weeks to find a clean contractor. So what will you do? And you are under political pressure. So now
Uh, for
the
me,
question will
I
come
think
between integrity and karma, right? So this will be the dilemma you are facing. So it's more towards what is right and more right. So what will you choose and why?
I think in this case, I think I shall go with how to set the people first. The person that is in the power, let's say the bureaucrat or me, that is the IAS officer, that the integrity of the IAS officer comes later. But first, I actually have to save the people that are being trapped in the flood, and somehow I actually have to save them first. Actually, if I actually now I think that if I give the uh, contractor the work, later I might be trapped in the cases of favoritism and all that. But in this situation, I can't actually think about all this. Actually, first thought that I should have that how to save the people that I am serving, because I'm civil servant in this case. So the first
Noted.
work I have to do is actually save the people. Then actually think about what the
Okay,
result
you
will
are
be with
saying
me.
save the people. Is this your answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Manas, you quickly.
Ma'am, I'll agree with him. It is
Hmm.
it is for the greater good of the greater number.
But if you have to like put the Jain philosophy over here, what are the terms you will be using? That I'm waiting for. Very quickly, explain it to me, Manas. Quickly.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So, Anekantavada, how will put it that both decisions, approving or rejecting the contractor, they hold partial truth in this. Is this where we
Yes,
can put
ma'am.
Anekantavada, right? So, one view is
Yes, ma'am.
saving lives in right, right? And from another, ethical integrity is right. So, these are the two dilemmas that we are facing. So, we are putting Anekantavada over here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Manas?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Saptarishi?
That's
Okay.
brother.
So, now,
Yes, ma'am.
Syadvada. Syadvada, how we are putting it, that in some respect approving is right, that is compassion, right? And in some respect it is
Yes,
wrong, that violation of procedure will be there. And in
yes,
some
sir. Yes,
respect, the situation is basically indescribable, right? Because ethics is there
yes,
and morality, there are different duties there, right? So these are the dilemmas that we are facing, right? Where it is indescribable. So we are putting 7 path folds over here,
yes,
right?
ma'am.
So now we have passion, Kashya. Can we put it over here in this example, the example I gave you?
Yes, ma'am.
Because
It can be the
we
passion to.
have greed also, we have passion also, we have all the emotions over here.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is how you have to answer and link up these philosophies. This is the ethics question, right? The case study questions that we come up with. And this is how you have to link it up with the philosophies that we are studying. Understood? So now, when it
Yes,
comes
ma'am.
to, yes, when it comes to Kashya passion, this is how we have to understand that making karma, this stick to the soul, right? Self-control and detachment, this is what we have to understand. And if you're an officer, it is very much required, very much, is basically it should be there. It should be in you, right? Compassion should be in you. Self-service,
Yes.
right? It should be there.
Empathy should be there. Yes.
Yes, understood how we have to like put these examples and the theories.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, now let's talk about path to liberation. What do you think? How, like I have given you an answer for this, so you should know how they'll get the liberation. What Jen said about it.
I think to have liberation, we actually have to use the umbrella of knowledge to actually uh, stop the bad karmas from sticking to us. Actually, we have to actually uh, follow the right path to actually have the purification or the purity of soul, the knowledge, the
Hmm.
right knowledge that we actually have to implement in our life to actually block the karmic particles from sticking to us. And ultimately, the negative thoughts, we have to stop that. And ultimately, we can have liberation.
Manas, do you want to say something in this?
No, ma'am, I agree with him.
Okay. So basically, in liberation, it says that when new karma will enter into our soul, right, and these old karma will leave from our soul, and through this we'll have the liberation through the right knowledge, right? So this process happens through 2 stages. First is samvara and next is nirajra. So samvara means stopping new karma, right? And nirajra is shedding old karmas, right? So samvara means that stoppage or blocking the inflow of karmic matter. So it is the first step toward purification. Understood? Preventing new karmas
Yes,
from
sir.
entering the soul. And how it happens? Through self-disciplines, mindfulness, you basically keeping the door closed to the karmic cases. Understood? So by this we
Yes,
can
sir.
close the door, right, and control the passion. And basically tapas, voluntary endurance and simplicity in life. And next we have awareness. Basically it is called aprapada, being very constantly and conscious of one's thought. And next is senses. So not letting the sense pull our mind outwards, right? So we have to control our senses also. So by these factors we can understand and stop new karma entering into our soul. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's more like we are building a dam, right? We build dam to stop the flow of the water, to control the flow of water, right? So in the same way, we have to stop this karma, to stop the negativity that enters into our soul, right? And through these practices, we can do that. Okay, next we have
Yes.
nirjara, that is elimination or shedding of karma. So nirjara means wearing off, destruction, or basically removing, shedding old karmas, right? So even after preventing new karmas, old karmas will cover the soul. So they must be exhausted or basically removed away, right? And there are 2 types of nirjara. First is passive, and another one is active, right? So basically passive is
Yes.
that naturally wear out when their time is over, right? And another one are they are deliberately destroyed, right? So these are removed themselves. And this you have to do, for this you have to do certain practices, right? Through these practices, they are basically deliberately removed from your body, from your soul, right? So there are different practices that we have to do. For example, tapas is there, tap that we call, dhyan is there, right? So these are the practices that helps us in nirjara. Understood till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So both are, samvara and nirjara, both are necessary for purification. So samvara is what? Stopping new karmas. It prevents further bondage, and nirjara means removing old karmas, and it frees the soul from past. So when without samvara, the inflow continues, and nirjara, old karma remains. Right? This is the difference that you have to remember. Understood till here?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes. So basically, if we take it with the example of dust that we were doing, so samvara is like not letting new dust on our soul, right? And nirjara is what? Removing the old dust that was on our soul, right? So this is the difference between these two.
Ma'am,
Yes.
what
Yes.
are the ways? What are the ways to stop new karma entering into soul?
What are the ways to?
To stop new karma entering
So
inside.
basically, there are tap that we can do, like I've said it here. Tap is there, dhyan is there. So what is tapas? It is like fasting, self-control, simplicity, detachment from the worldly, right, behavior and materialistic world. And dhyana is what? This is
Non-violent.
called meditation, right?
Yes.
So these
Meditation.
are the examples. These are the things that can help us, right? And then we have also, you can say forgiveness is also there. That is called shama. So now imagine that philosophy teaches us such vast things, right, to implement in our lives. Now, like it talks about nirjara, and it is mentioned that shama should be there, forgiveness should be there, right? But in today's life, I think we've discussed this in the previous class also. Do we see conflicts between people, right, between families, right, for this reason only? There are
Yes, ma'am.
different disputes that we can see, right? So don't you think
Yes,
that we
ma'am.
should implement this in our life also?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you elaborate it more? Like, what do you think about it?
Well, basically, I think that these ideas of Sambhara and Nijara can be actually implemented in our life, daily life, because our mind is full of different emotions like greed, anger. These things are all uh, present in our mind that
Uh,
makes us actually humans. Human mind is consist of these all emotions, but actually if we follow the right knowledge that we have gained, the right knowledge to actually that we have gained, like through tapas and dhyan and all that, so through that we can actually implement this right knowledge, the right teachings that actually we have learned in our lives, like saying the truth, following the path of non-violence, understanding different aspects. We can follow Achintavad and these things to actually understand different aspects of truth, and thus actually we can stop the new karma, the bad negative thoughts coming to us, and actually shed whatever bad old karmas were in us. Uh, and ultimately we can understand the people around us more, so thus the conflicts between the people can actually stop, or they can actually decrease very much. We can actually understand the knowledge of forgiveness, shama, and thus we can have a fruitful and peaceful life together with the people around us.
yes. Manas, did you understand till here? Any
Yes,
confusion? Is
yes,
Jain
ma'am. No, no,
philosophy
no, no,
interesting
no
to you?
confusion, ma'am.
Okay, so my question to you is, Manas, like if you want to implement this in your life, Jain philosophy, any basically sub particles of it, if you want to implement it, where will you do it?
Yes, ma'am. Normally, at times we are trapped with emotions, or some emotions are trapped inside us. So
Okay.
by samhara, we can stop some new emotions, new
Not stop,
anxieties.
but control. We should
So
control them. We should never stop them, because If we'll stop basically having these emotions, then there will be no difference between materialistic things and us. So humans are different because we have emotions, we have the ability to think. But yes, this uncontrolled behavior that we have, right, this is what we have to control, but we have to understand. And this is what Jen says. We should not stop having these emotions. We
Okay,
should
okay,
control
okay.
them, have balance
Ma'am.
between them.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. What about you, Saptarishi? If you have to implement
Yes,
this, any part of this philosophy, where will you do it?
yes. Basically, I can actually implement the Achintapad in my life and all that because I try to do that as well because understanding different aspects of the truth is very
Anekantavada.
much important. Yes, sir.
Okay, is it because you don't like listen to other perspectives?
No, madam. Actually, I implement this idea in my
Okay,
life. I am
okay,
saying that I actually implement this because to actually understand the truth about different aspects of reality, the reality, we can actually have to understand the feelings of the other persons, the people we are talking to or listening to. Actually, we have to understand their perspective also, and thus we can actually control the anger, the emotions that run to us. Actually, we can control these emotions through this understanding of different aspects of reality. And I implement this in my life because thus I can actually understand different aspects of the ideas of different persons, and thus we can actually control our emotions in such a way that the life that we lead can be more fruitful and useful toward different people around us.
okay, perfect. So this is it for today. We'll continue this tomorrow. Okay, Manas, any doubt you have, Saptarishi? Do you want to discuss something, say something,
No,
coming in
thank you,
your mind?
ma'am. Thank
This
you,
is
ma'am.
it.
Ma'am, I just wanted to know where can I get the lectures that I missed yesterday?
Lectures for what?
That I missed yesterday. I left for some work,
I
so I
couldn't hear
missed.
you. Can you repeat again, please?
Ma'am, I
The
left
recording
I
of
left I left the class yesterday for some time. So where can I get the recorded
That
lectures,
you
ma'am?
have to ask in the admin office, Manas.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So did you read the attachment that I gave to you about philosophical introduction?
Ma'am, I just today only I saw that. I'll read, ma'am. I read. I come
Okay,
back.
read it, and if you face any problem, then you can revert it back.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Saptarishi.
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.